So I could probably case and then here Tuesday night. No, that Tuesday. Oh, you could. I couldn't see you. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead of it, so I don't, I'll check on the game. No, I don't. It's all stuff that everybody's got. It just happens to. Well, we got a week to. I don't like you have to get it. And I don't, no, all the time. So but yeah, that's bad, yeah, that's not. We'll make sure it gets done, we just gotta make sure we have enough that we're. Chair. The chair runs both meetings. Yeah. But when the chair and the vice chair are both on, then we gotta have like, Tyler said, deputy chair. And I don't. We're gonna create a deputy chair. We need a third. Yeah. It's probably better just. Yeah, see what you got. Yeah, we just had a few things making.
You could temporarily appoint somebody today, just in when you maybe on agenda item 9 or 10, if that's the concern.
Hereby appoint you, Commissioner Gable.
I'll be the deputy vice chair.
The third chair. Lee, will you be back?
Yeah, Lee will be back.
Yeah, I'll be back next week.
Myron said he can do it too. He's done it in the past.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I could be the deputy vice deputy. No, the vice deputy vice chair.
Yeah. The 1 week, right? 1 week is gone.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you did
We
great.
got 9:01.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. We'll go ahead and call the meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. It is 9 a.m. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll have JT lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It still gets me every time. All right, just a reminder, you can call in for public comments. Public comment may be submitted in person or by telephone by calling 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. Commissioners, do we have any conflict of interest items on the agenda?
No.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4 is action to approve the April 7th agenda.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by McElhaney. We have a second by Gable. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is action to approve the March 24th minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item number 6. This is our monthly report section. We'll begin with our 4-H educator, and that's Jody. You're up. Good morning.
Morning, Jody.
Morning.
All right, good morning. I just returned from Rapid after a conference out there with 4-H educators from across the state. Shooting sports continues on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. The state 4-H shoot is April 24th, 25th, and 26th in Fort Pierre. At this time, we have 57 youth registered for the state shoot, with registration ending on April 16th. And some of those youth are doing multiple events. Some of them are doing 2 or 3 different archery areas also. So 4-H Shooting Sports still has raffle tickets that can be purchased from the shooting sports families or at our office. A big thank you to our 4-H Shooting Sports volunteer coaches who put in a lot of time with our youth. We do have a team of youth that have qualified for the Daisy National Shoot this year in Arkansas, and that will be July 10th through the 13th. So This will be the second time we've sent a team there. You can't go 2 years in a row, I guess, so they had to take a year off, but they've qualified again. I am teaching Adopt a Cow Dairy in Waverly for kindergarten and second grade, along with Ave Maria School in first grade. This is an SDSU Extension K through 2 curriculum. We'll wrap up our 4-H Clover Bud after school meetings this April, and then a Clover Bud camp is scheduled for June 24th. And I met with my leaders last night to kind of go through some planning for achievement days and all the things with 4-H. So any other questions?
Thank you. No, thank you, Jody. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to our VSO, Veteran Service Officer. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Jay Roberts, Veteran Service Officer.
Should I identify you, Jay? Sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
fine.
Mm.
So today I would like to discuss our metrics for this last month. We had 136 open claims with 56 pending and 80 completed for the year. In Hamlin County, we have 16 open claims, 8 pending with 8 completed for the year. And currently we're working claims for 8 veterans outside of our county. Three have been completed for the year so far outside of the county. Right now, and I'll just skip ahead a little bit on our metrics. We had that event on the 24th of March out at the Armory, and our first outreach event, and it went very well. We had about 59 veterans there, which was over double what we had last year. We had a lot of positive reference from the veterans that they'd like to have that event. They wish they'd have more, and we assured them we will be having more as directed by the state. So with that, during that meeting, the Secretary Jeremiah Schneider was here from the South Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs, and he mentioned that within the state, the revenue that has been generated from the veterans for the state and that number, and then he went on to state how the veterans of this county have monies that come in from the federal government, and how that money is then dispersed and reused, let's say, at least 3 times within the county. You know, does it go directly to the county? No, probably not. Some of it goes to the city, most likely, but anyway, we're doing very well. We're keeping very busy with veterans walking in and calling in, making appointments. We had quite a few phone calls left this last weekend after a long weekend. On the 21st, we also had an event that we went to out at the Armory where soon-to-be veterans will be retiring from the South Dakota National Guard. And we had a few come into the office after that event as well. We have continually people coming in asking tax questions, and the answer is still the same. All the VA money is tax-free, and so they need to understand that. We're advertising for more drivers for our DAV van, as we had another person step down and retire, so we're down to 3 now, slowly dwindling away, but hopefully we'll get some more volunteers. Future here we have coming up, we have an event on the 16th where both Eric and I need to attend a conference down in Sioux Falls, put on by the South Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs. And then on the 22nd, Avantera has changed their date with us. 22nd of April, we'll be going to our second outreach event there with families and members at Avantera to brief them on what their benefits would possibly be. So that'll be about it.
That's it.
Okay,
Busy.
we are busy.
Hey,
I'm going to hang
Mr.
around.
Chair.
Commissioner
Mr.
Gable?
Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to say that event on the 24th was really useful. I was only able to stay for a little bit, but it's a really good information meeting. So all the benefits and stuff can be really complicated for veterans, and so appreciate Jay and you and the VA and the other people that helped put that on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, let's move on to item number 7. This is action to approve to advertise and hire a seasonal memorial park technician. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Yeah, I need to reach out to go and have some more staff out there, but I need to have that changed to custodial, just for the reason if nobody is qualified to be a technician. If I do have somebody there, then that will be qualified, and then I'll probably put them in a tech position, so.
So you're looking at a custodial
Yep.
position then?
Yep,
And that's a seasonal position?
that's a seasonal position, correct.
So what is what's the difference between the technician?
Technician to be able to do some functions of maintenance, of basically fixing things, electrical, those kind of things, where custodials mostly clean up and, things like that, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by McElhaney. Any discussion? That is obviously a budgeted position.
Yep, that's budgeted positions.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 8 is action to approve Delta Dental Insurance renewal rates and county employee splits. And I do believe, Commissioners, you do have that in your packet. And review that. Commissioner Gable, were you able to get that? email?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I got that. Thank you.
All right.
So.
I'll turn it over to Brenda.
Right, if you noticed, our increase was actually 16.1%. But based on our rate stability, they are going to limit to 5%. So you can see what the 2025 rate for the single was 50.10. The new rate is 52.62, which the county typically pays full, for the single rate. For the two-party, $90.20 was the 2025. The new rate for 2026 is $94.72. Typically, in the past, the county has paid half of the two-party rate. So that would be $47.36 for the employee and then $47.36 for the county. For the 3 or more, the $131.30 was the 2025 rate. The new 2026 rate is $137.88. Typically, the county has split that as well. The employee pays half, the county pays half. So that rate then, if you split it, is $68.94.
Move to
Move to
approve.
approve.
We
Second.
have a motion by McElhaney, a second by Gable. It's nice that they're working with us on that 5%.
Yes.
So appreciate them doing that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Just a couple things to note here that the board will meet as a county board of equalization at 1 p.m. on April 14th at the courthouse. That is a plan right now. We do have a couple conflicts with that, so we're not sure if that'll be changing or not, but right now that is the plan. And then item number 10 is that the board will meet as a consolidated board of equalization at 6:30 on April 14th in the chambers at the Watertown City Hall. So both of those are yearly Board of Equalization meetings. Commissioner Johnson?
I've not been in the new city hall. What door do you go in?
Either one.
Um,
You can go in the west side or the east side.
So
Either one.
for that meeting at that time of night, you're probably going to want to go in the door on the south side with the parking lot on the south, because we're probably going to be in the council chambers, I would
Right,
imagine, and
right.
that door
Yeah,
would
you
lead
go
you
in-
into the
you
council
go in
chambers,
The door that goes right into the council chambers, which is.
right? So,
Outside.
yeah, so I would, the door on Maple will probably be locked, I'm guessing,
I'm
because that
sure.
leads you into the offices, so go in
I
the,
don't want to be caught rolling around down there on Bar Street.
yeah, you'll be fine. All right, so let's move on to item number 11, action to approve abatement applications. Any of those? Action to approve claims for payment.
We have one, and that would be our salaries for March, and the total amount is $857, $857,267.67.
Which are they?
Move to-
57.
Second.
Approve.
Yeah, okay, we have all kinds of motions. We have one by Johnson, the motion, and then a second by Commissioner Schwer. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13 is action to approve automatic budget supplements.
Nothing today.
Action to approve personnel changes.
You have 2 of those in your packet. One is for Jacob Redmond. His effective date of hire is April 1st, 2026. He's a part-time correctional officer in the jail, step 1, 2766, new hire. And also Edwin Henry, his effective date was April 1st, 2026. He's also a part-time correctional officer in the jail, step 1, 2766, also a new hire.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by McElhaney, second by Gable. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. We do have a travel request. That is the next item, number 15 on your agenda. We have one, it looks like.
Yes, emergency management to attend an exercise. You have all the details in your packet.
It is a budgeted item.
Yeah.
Second it.
Motion by Johnson, second by Commissioner Schwer. Any discussion on that? As mentioned, it is a budgeted item for that office. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16 is public notices where a possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance at Sioux Valley Commissioners Meeting is coming up on Wednesday, April 8th
I think they
Tomorrow.
did that, yes.
at noon. That's going to be in DeSmit. So could be a quorum there. Anything else, commissioners?
On the night is that pipeline safety program, and that's
Mhm.
going to be at the Ram Coda. That's in the event center, usually that's at 5:30, and it could be at 1:00.
I will be there. for that.
And I don't know that.
Planning on it.
Okay, so we will have a quorum. Sounds like there for that pipeline safety meeting. They do that every year. It's kind of a refresher just to know what type of response you're going to have in your community if you have a pipeline emergency. And so I think it's a requirement that they do that, but we do it every year. And it's kind of a nice opportunity to get together and speak with our pipeline partners and figure out the response if we need to respond to an incident. So that's very nice. Number 17, old business. Anything for old business?
Mr. Chair, I can give a quick jail update.
Good, Commissioner Gable.
If that's okay. Yeah, just let me show a
I don't know where to
the-
look.
yeah, so can you, let's see here. Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so the this
Right.
was provided by Tegra. Just want to turn your attention to the contingency part at the toward the lower third there, but you can see the so you have two contingency.
Oh,
Commissioner
Probably.
Gable, stand by here just a moment. We turned your TV off by accident here.
Oh, really?
Okay. Steve, that's okay. We'll just use this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Commissioner Gable.
Yeah, so the you can see contingencies divided up into two pots. A construction contingency, which we've used up 21% of that, and then the owner contingency, which we've used only 4%. But you can see where we're sitting. So sometime mid-July is what we're looking at right now. Well, I'm sorry, with some of the weather delays, we're looking at mid-August actually. So for next of 2027 for completion. So that just to give folks an idea. But as things are going apace, just working through the little things, but no big things. So that's moving on, and the budget looks like it's in good shape. So, and it just the most recent change order that I signed had to do with the smoke evacuation system, which was I think I've mentioned it before, but so that's finally figured out. So that did use a little bit of contingency for some added features on that one. So that had to do with the alarm system that goes with it. So anyway, that's about it for the jail update right now.
Okay, thank you. It's nice to see the substantial progress out there on the structure going up. It's nice to see that. So, all right. All right. Anything else for old business?
Mr. Chair, I can report the concern of the 14th Avenue Bridge. So last Monday, they poured the deck,
Mhm.
which is basically your driving service, which means basically from that point on down below is all done. So now they got to do the side rails, well, the guardrails and the side rails and stuff. So the boss man reports they're coming along a little bit ahead of schedule, but looking very good. So that's a good deal.
Yesterday.
Yep, last Monday they poured the deck.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Yeah, the weather's been cooperating. That's nice. It's nice to move ahead of schedule.
The other thing is we got our county offices moved out of that building. Last Monday we moved the storage container up with the stuff out of there. So they're doing their temporary 2 to 3 month plan of the office out at the state building. And then whatever whatever else they're doing.
A lot of moving parts. Okay, thank you for the update.
So the guy that we rented it from said it'd be easier if we just took it back to his lot.
Oh, okay.
And they have full access to it if they need something out of there, but since it ended up being quite full, he had to use
Heavy,
very heavy, yes.
payload.
So he used a payloader, so instead of like running around and setting it at the extension building, he just took it to his lot, and then he's like, so when we get ready to go to the other building, he can just put it up, set it on the trailer, and away they go.
Great, good. All right. Thank you for the update on
And he's
that.
not gonna charge us anything for like storage.
Good. Thank him for that. Anything else for old business? Anything for new business? Anything for new business? Right, let's move on to the open. This is the time for public comments. Sir, you have a comment? Come on up. Please identify yourself, and I would just ask that you turn on that button right there. Just press that button. That'll turn your microphone on. There you go.
Hello.
Morning.
All right. Good morning.
We
My
here
name
to
is Jay.
speak about this morning, Jay.
Yeah. Hi, my name is James Simmons.
Okay.
I was here about a month ago and brought up a question or concerns, I'm sorry, with law enforcement use of a technology called automatic license plate readers, and more specifically with one of the companies that produces them, Flock Safety. I'll just call them Flock going forward. So I'm returning today to expand on some of those concerns and hopefully convince this board to not approve an agreement with Flock Safety. And apologies, I realized after it was too late, I should have requested to be added to the agenda to have a more productive discussion, but here we are. Sorry. Happy to come back next week for that. So real quick, the agreement that we currently have in place with Flock Safety, sorry, it says in here, not to bury the lead. Okay. It references customer is Codington County Sheriff's Department. Customer shall have the right to terminate this agreement for non-appropriation within 30 days of written notice without penalty or other cost. In the event that Codington County Sheriff's Office does not obtain funding, or if the Board of Commissioners does not approve Flock, Codington County Sheriff's Office can terminate the agreement without penalty. So that's what I'm here to try to convince you to do. So just for context, now the cameras themselves, they look like this. Oh goodness. The cameras look like this. They're a self-contained unit. They're wireless. There's no connection to utilities. They got a solar panel, a battery backup, an LTE cell module, so they have 24/7 power and communication without any connection. They've also got a high-powered camera on them with high-definition footage and an AI-powered analysis, so they capture everything. They don't just capture the license plate number, which is what they commonly say. Oh, it captures license plate information. It captures everything in its field of view. It's a wide field of view. Everything in the vehicle, who's driving it, how many passengers there are, who the passengers are, tracking location of where the vehicles go, who you associate with. It's a large amount of data that captures camera. But my concern today is what happens to that data once it gets captured. And so what Flock Safety does is they take all that data and they feed it into a system that they brand as Flock Nova. That's the database that they use. Flock Nova is a searchable network that they charge access to get for individuals to get access into and search around for literally anything that you can find in the system. And so the argument that I would make is that Flock's business model does not revolve around getting the cameras into the community. Their business model focuses and revolves around Flock Nova, the database itself. The cameras just feed information into the network. I would make this argument based off the patent that they filed in 2022, which references a dynamic surveillance network. So it's a surveillance network. They sell access to it, and the cameras just feed information into that network. But unfortunately, the cameras are not the only thing that feed information into that network. Here's a 2-page list of a multitude of different sources that they capture information from, including cell data, credit card information, a number of third-party data brokers that you can go online and purchase information from. So like your cell phone tracks everything about you, and those apps that capture that data sell it to data brokers, to anybody who's willing to buy it. Flock's willing to buy it. They put it into Flock Nova. Anybody with access to Flock Nova can search that database. So I'll give you a couple examples. One of the partners with Flock Nova is Ring doorbell cameras. So Flock and Ring entered into an agreement in 2025. So anybody who has access to Flock Nova can access live footage from Ring doorbell cameras. It's very concerning. That agreement was suspended, not by Flock, but by Ring, because there's so much bad publicity around it. That Ring says, hey, there's too much heat on this. We're going to put this on ice for now. Don't hold your breath. They're probably going to go back into that agreement eventually. So one other very concerning data source, which is publicly acknowledged by Flock, this isn't a secret, they've acknowledged this publicly, is illegally hacked and publicly listed data. So like you've heard of instances where like, I'll use Walmart as an example. Their customer database gets hacked and customer information and credit card information gets, put online. Flock has openly admitted that they purchased that data and they feed it into Flock Nova. It's illegally hacked and sourced. They don't care. They put it into Flock Nova. So a lot of information, very concerning. It's very surveillable. Again, a dynamic surveillance network. So you might say, well, it's just the Codington County Sheriff that has access to the network. How much harm can they really do? I would argue that it's more than just Codington County Sheriff that has access to the data. Here's a third-party independent cybersecurity group that did a penetration test on the system, and they found over 60 vulnerabilities to Flock cameras and the Flock Nova system. So everything up to and including, they could just go online, find the IP address to the cameras, and just view live camera footage because the system is so weak. The system is so weak that the United States Congress, the US Congress, issued a letter to the chair of the FTC just in this past November, asking them to investigate Flock safety for its negligent cybersecurity practices. Flock surveillance data can reveal Americans' movements over time, including trips to doctors, therapists, support group meetings, as well as places of worship and protests. It goes on for 2 more pages explaining why the system is such a concern. So that's the system, and that's some of the concerns around it. Now, my other point to talk about is the contract, the agreement that customers enter into with Flock. This is an agreement not with Codington County. This is a 2-year-old agreement with Panama City, Florida. They're a customer of Flock. Now, it starts off with 3 or 4 pages of just a simple order acknowledgement. Here's the cameras you're getting. Here's the software you're paying for access into. After that order form, it goes into a 20-page document, which is a legal binding contract between the customer and Flock. Here's some concerning notes from this contract I'd like to share with you around customer data. So what Flock says is they don't own the data, you own the data, but here by signing this agreement, customer hereby grants to Flock a limited, non-exclusive, royalty-free, irrevocable, worldwide access to the customer data to perform the access necessary by Flock. So basically saying, once you put the cameras in your community, they have full and irrevocable access to that data forever. But you own the data, don't worry. Another thing is disclosure of the footage. They say here, Flock may access, use, preserve, meaning save forever, or disclose the footage to law enforcement and such third-party companies, yada, yada, yada. They say not only do you give them full and unfettered access to the data, they can do whatever they want with it. They can share with whoever they want. So it's not just Flock, it's not just the Codington County Sheriff that has access to the data. It's basically anybody that Flock wants to, plus everybody who hacks it. So again, very concerning. Here's the limitations of liability. Basically, I'll summarize it for you. You can't sue them for anything ever because they're not liable for mistakes the system makes. If it flags the wrong license plates and you go and arrest somebody wrongfully, that citizen can't sue Flock, but they can sue the county. So they release all liability when you sign the agreement. And then here's an interesting one. I'll end the contract conversation on this. Ownership of the hardware, meaning the cameras themselves. Once they get installed in the community, it says here, Flock hardware is owned and shall remain the exclusive property of Flock. Customer is not permitted to remove, reposition, reinstall, tamper with, alter, adjust, or otherwise take possession or control of Flock hardware. So once you put them in, you're at the mercy of what Flock wants to do with them. And so there's been a few communities out there interesting one is Evanston, Illinois. It was published that they canceled their agreement with Flock. They, I don't know the full details, assumedly somebody from the city went out and removed the cameras. Flock went out and reinstalled the cameras after the contract was terminated and turned the cameras back on. So they said, hey, you don't have the right to take those cameras out. Those are our cameras. And so if you cancel the agreement with them, you're still at their mercy of when they turn them off and when they remove them. And the whole time they're installed, they're capturing data, feeding it into Flock Nova. That's forever data. So again, don't start the contract with them, don't engage in the agreement with them, and the data doesn't exist, it can't be surveilled. So like I said, this is a 2-year-old contract with Panama City. This is the current agreement that Codington County has with Flock. Again, it starts off with 3 or 4 pages of here's the cameras you're ordering and here's the access you have in the system. And then after that, there's no 20-page contract. Where's the contract? This is a weak contract. There's not much that Panama City can do if they want to fight back, but yet it's still legally binding. Where's that in our agreement? Doesn't exist. And why doesn't it exist? Because this line here changed from this agreement. In this agreement, it says, by executing this order form, customer represents and warrants that it has read and agrees to all the terms and conditions in the master service agreement. That's the 20-page contract. Well, in our agreement, it doesn't say that. In our agreement, it says, upon executing this order form, customer represents and warrants that it has read and agrees to all the terms and conditions contained in the terms of service located at flocksafety.com/terms and conditions. So there's no binding contract in place. There's simply terms and conditions on their website that they control and change at their discretion as much as they want. So I did go on the website, looked at terms and conditions. I didn't memorize it because they can change it as much as they want. But one thing that I doubt they'll change is their arbitration agreement, which says if you sign this agreement, you're basically saying we forego any right to sue Flock, and if we have any problem with them, we have to enter into a binding arbitrator to be picked by Flock Safety. So again, incredibly weak agreement with them. Again, I go back to the original line, Codington County Sheriff and or the Board of Commissioners can not approve the agreement and not approve funding for the agreement. That's what I would ask you to do. Last thing I'll end on, sorry, is 53 cities and counties across the country that have canceled or terminated their agreement with Flock. I would ask Codington County be the 54th. So that's
Okay.
everything. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else here for public comments? No one else here for public comments. All right. Let's move on to letter B, and that's commission comments. Commissioners, any comments?
Mr. Chair, I probably should make it public. I have withdrew my nominating petition. I will not be running for a commission seat. I'm going to try to retire again. I failed the first time, so we'll try it again. I will be with you until the end of the year, January 1st, and I will also be serving on the South Dakota Retirement Board until that time, and all the other boards that I serve.
How many years have you been on the commission, Myron?
I thought it was 16.
Yes.
But somebody
16?
told me it was 20. I said, no, I think it's 16.
16.
It was just 16. Just
Right.
6.
Well, we hate to see you go, that's for sure, but we understand that retirement's calling, and so we wish you the best of luck.
Leave while it's still clapping.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that, Commissioner Johnson. Thank you very much. And anything else, I guess? Okay. We do have a need to go into executive session pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2 to discuss personnel issues. We also have some contractual issues that we need to discuss. So we'll look for a motion.
Second it.
We have a motion by Johnson, second by Commissioner Schwer. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and I do not believe we'll have any action afterwards, JT, for you. So thank you. 1 and 2. Yep, 1 and 2. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Simmons, thanks for coming in.